Hello everybody, welcome back to another Fallout Wasteland Warfare battle. We're up to tutorial number 3, known as the water treatment plant, which is laid out before you, and this has a lot of criteria for how you win this one, so I'm looking at the booklet in my other hand here. The super mutants just want to capture people. They capture them by defeating them in close combat, and they win if they get 4. One unit in particular on the survivor side counts for 2 for these purposes, so they either need 4 people or 3. The survivors, me in other words, are trying to pump water from this destroyed water treatment facility with underground pipes, I guess, at the 4 consoles here. They're trying to pump water to their settlement, and they need to get to 30,000 gallons. The first time one of these computers is successfully used per turn, 6,000 gallons is pumped. If another one is activated on the same turn, it gives 1,000, I think? Yep, 1,000. Also, there's 2 generators right at the back here, and then the other end of the table over there. If those generators are switched on, they pump 5,000 gallons at the end of each round until the end of the battle. So that encourages them to leave their base, because they are holding this position here, and the super mutants are encroaching on their position. So there's set gear, and we'll go over that in a second. So along with this tutorial introducing like holding objectives and also usable items, consumables, we're also going to put in faction specific bonuses. So for the survivors, everybody starts with +1 super armor, I think it's called, except unique units which start with +2, or 2 + 1 icons. Basically that just means it's armor that can't be destroyed by armor breaks, and it affects the first time they're shot. So the first time, say, the sole survivor's shot, it reduces by 1 or 2, I guess. I'm not sure if you have to use both each time or if you can split them across. The super mutants, they get to use their close combat skill even if they're using a ranged weapon in close combat. They can't wear power armor, they're immune to radiation, and any food they eat counts as if they're cooked even if they aren't. So my faction of survivors is the sole survivor day 1. I believe he gets upgraded from day 1 after this tutorial. I'm not 100% sure, but his stats will improve once he's up to that. He still has his 10mm pistol, but he also has Jet. Whether or not he'll be doing those drugs in the battle, I guess we'll see. And he has his 2 super armor. Dogmeat here, 2 super armor because he's unique. 2 settlers, each equipped with assault rifles. They have 1 Nuka Cherry between them. So if one of them uses it, it's gone. The other one can't use it, but it's assigned to the unit. And then we have Enslaved Tech, although because he's part of the survivors, not the super mutants, he's actually known as a free tech, which means he has +1 endurance and +1 physical armor. And he's equipped with a combat shotgun and sturdy leather armor. So he, in total, has 4 physical defense and 4 energy defense. So he's pretty tanky, which is just as well, because his HP is actually pretty low. If he was an enslaved tech for the super mutants, he'd have 3 HP, but because he's with us, he's actually 4 HP. And our AI opponents today are 2 super mutants as a squad. They have bolt action pipe rifles each. They have boards for close combat, and between them they have 1 blood pack which can be used to heal 3 HP, so again, if one of them uses it, it's not available to the other one. They have the Brute, he has a sledgehammer, he has Nuka-Cola, and he has Psycho, which I think makes his melee attack better, and some other stuff. We'll worry about that again if he takes it. Then we have a Mutant Hound at the end here, just with a Hound Bite, so it's essentially the same list as last time, except this is what you're supposed to use this time. We'll be back at deployment. So we're set up and good to go. The survivors have to deploy within the ruins of the water treatment facility. The super mutants can come in from anywhere within 2 inches around the edge. Because it's playing against AI in this scenario, I just randomised the sides. So the Brute and 1 super mutant came in on this edge, 1 other super mutant came in on that edge, and the Hound came over on that edge and is near to the generator to stop it being switched on. Then Soul Survivor, Dogmeat right in the middle. Enslaved Tech is kind of hiding over there, and then the settlers are next to the consoles. I don't see anything that says they can't deploy right next to the terminals, so why not? The only other rule I forgot to cover, if for whatever reason the Enslaved Tech is not in this central square, which is the water treatment plant, the first 2,000 gallons pumped in a turn are lost, because he's kind of the one who knows how everything works. His tech skill is exceptionally high. Speaking of which, the settlers only have a tech skill of like 4, so it'll be quite hard for them to activate the terminals. The Enslaved Tech needs to be protected. So we're going to go into battle round 1, starting with the survivors. So to get the game started, this settler has activated, and the super mutant is out of range even though she can see it. So her first action is going, well, her first action, she only needs to spend 1 because I forgot interacting with something is a free thing you can do at the end or start of an action. She's going to try and activate the console, Her tech skill is only 4. And she actually got 4, so that is 6,000 gallons of water pumped. And her other action, or her only action, is that she's going to prepare. So we're going to put a little kind of Overwatch symbol, because the super mutant is out of range of her weapon. However, if he now moves into range or attacks her, those count as triggers so that she can shoot at him. So that's what she's going to do. Not necessarily this super mutant is going to activate, of course, it's going to be randomly selected, and then the AI decides what it wants to do. Let's see. So the AI has decided that the mutant hound will activate first and he will attack, so he has moved up and now he is in charge range. Also, as per our discussion last time, it seems like the done thing is if a last action of an enemy is to charge, they get the bonus for the charge when they attack first next round, and I'm going to play it that way. It makes the most sense, because otherwise what's the point of charging as your second action? So that's how we're doing it. So anyway, he is going to charge her, and I believe... Oh, actually, hang on. I was going to say she would get to react to the charge, but he's outside her perception range of green. Although, I was reading the rules and it said, like, if a reaction, or if the prepare is a reaction to a charge, the charge happens, I think. But you get to roll, but without the minus for using a ranged weapon in combat, because the fluff says, oh, you get an extra second to prepare yourself. So anyway, the super mutant has charged successfully. Sorry, the super mutant hound. I'm not sure if this is if done right, by all means point out, but I'm going to say the reaction procs then, once the charge is completed, because it's a reaction to the charge, not preparing the charge. If that's wrong, let me know. So she gets to shoot, and it's actually at close range, so there'd be a green in here. No minus, the rulebook specifically said no minus, so it's 6s. She got a 2, plus 1 extra bonus damage. The hound has 1 physical armor, which did not apply, so the hound has taken 3 damage. And that's his activation done. So the enslaved tech activated, he moved next to the console there, and he is activating it for a free action at the end of his first actual action, so this is an 8. And that is a quick action, and it counts as a 1, so he's exceeded, so that's 1,000 gallons more of water. And despite him using a combat shotgun, its maximum range is red plus blue, so he can actually reach this ensuing combat here, so he's going to fire at them. He doesn't get any bonus dice at blue though. So it's purely a skill rating of 3, but because it's shooting into a melee it's plus 2, so he's looking for 5. And he failed and got a quick action again, so... nothing there. If he had succeeded, he would have had to then roll to see if he'd accidentally hit his friend or the super mutant hound, but that's not going to happen. So 4,000 gallons pumped already, back over to the mutant. The super mutant brute activated and he got an objective followed by an attack AI action, so basically they're both one and the same for him, because the goal is kill people in close combat. So he basically just moved up yellow twice, obscured by the wall somewhat or mostly, and will be within range to do some nastiness next time. I forgot to mention at the top though that this is a 6-round match unless the tally for either side is reached before that. It's not 4. So there's more than enough time to get enough water, assuming at least one console is successfully activated per turn. The settler here activated, moved next to the console, and he's going to try and use it. So skill of 4. That would be a 7, so that is a fail, no water pumped. His other action is that he is going to shoot at this super mutant here. It's at red plus green range, so it's just 1 black die added in. The brute is obscured next to cover he's within orange of, so this is skill minus 2, so his skill is now 4. That would be 5, he failed it by 1. Oh well, that is his turn. Back over to the super mutants. So over this end of the table, this super mutant activated next, and he moved up once. He's trying to do objectives. There is an item there. I don't know if the AI is supposed to grab items, but just for the sake of seeing more interesting danger cards and such, he's spun this over. He has to do a perception check or suffer a danger, plus an item. He has a perception of 4, he got a 1, so he passed. So no danger, so we don't get to read that unfortunately. He does get an item from the wasteland however, and he got himself a pipe wrench, which I guess is attached to the unit. Actually no, it would probably be specifically him. Not sure about that. Either way, his other action is moving up again to where you can see him. So that's why the goal was pump as much water in turn 1 as possible, because it's going to get very messy very quickly. The best boy dog meat activated, and he has charged the Superman that just ended his turn there with his first action. His second action is to do the bite with black bonus damage in, or thrown in from the charge bonus, looking for 8. And he failed. Oh, dog meat. Really didn't need you to get an X there, buddy. That's his turn. He can't do anything else. So the last Superman wants to attack. He moved up, and now the sole survivor is in range with his pipe action Sorry, no, his bolt action pipe rifle, that's the one he's equipped with. So it's a downgrade from the last mission because they had hunting rifles in the last mission. Either way, long range, so just 1 black die, and looking for a perception of 4. That would be 8. So he has unfortunately missed, well, fortunately for me, unfortunately for him, and now it's the sole survivor to end off the turn. So the sole survivor has moved over there yellow, and now he is going to fire into that combat to try and kill the mutant hound with his 10mm pistol, perception of 5, although it's actually 6-7 of because of shooting into combat, but it doesn't matter because it's got a 1 anyway, so it's hit. It ignores armor, and it does 2 extra damage. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. He shot his own teammate. Well, so in total he is doing what, 4 damage, 1 armor break. Settlers have 1 armor breaks, 1 armor rather, naturally, but she has the special buff. So she would be taking, let's see, the base damage of the 10mm is 2, it would be 4 damage. She's taking 3 damage. She's on 1 HP thanks to the sole survivor missing his shot. Well, anyway, so at the end of battle round 1, 7,000 gallons of the 30,000 required for victory for the survivors has been pushed. If it wasn't for that 1 super armor from being a survivor faction, that survivor would have been killed by the sole survivor. Sorry, that settler would have been killed by the sole survivor. The mutant hound is almost dead as well on the plus side. However, that was really the only turn where unharassed they could pump a lot of water. Now it's going to get a little bit more difficult with the super mutants being so close and wanting to get into close combat. Let's see how things go in battle round 2. So to get battle round 2 started, the settler in a spot of bother activated and used Nuka Cherry to heal up to 4 damage, but then you have to have 1 rad damage and then also gain a quick action. So she's now just got 1 rad damage on her, and that card is gone. The other settler cannot use it because it was attached to the unit and she opted to use it. So she's now going to try and hit the mutant hound in combat with her ranged weapon, so it's -2 to her skill, so she's rocking skill 4. That would be 6 -2, so that's 4, and it does 2 extra damage. Now I didn't realise, but if you're using a ranged weapon in close combat, you also count the opponent's armor as being 1 higher, so that was done wrong prior to now. So that is 4 damage coming through on the mutant hound, which has 1 physical armor, so even if it does block the 1, I don't think it matters. Oh no, he's counting his 2 though. So he blocked 1, so in total he took 3 damage. He had 3 on him. He had 5 HP in total. The poor mutant hound has been killed, and that was 1 action, and she should be in base to base. It was not. Her second action will be to try and pump water from the computer. So the terminal skill is a 4. She failed. Ouch. And she has a quick action. What's she allowed to do with her quick actions? The only thing settlers are allowed to do with their quick actions is prepare. So she will do that and hopefully manage to take a shot at someone coming into her threat range. Not a bad turn, I guess, other than not pumping the water. The first AI activation of the turn is this super mutant here. He wants to attack, which is his objective anyway. So he's going to try and smack Dogmeat twice with his board. He is looking for 6s on the first one. That is a success with +1 bonus damage. Oh, I knocked it to a 6, but it was the exclamation mark, which I wasn't showing you anyway. So that was a success with 1 damage. So Dogmeat has 2 physical defense and 3 damages coming through. He blocked 1 of it, so he blocked the bonus damage essentially. So 2 damages coming through. He has 2 special armor, so that gets eaten up and is gone. Presumably you can use the 2 in the same attack. The other one, 8 - 1 is 7. That is not good enough. He needed a 6. The settler over here is activating next, and first things first, he's going to try and activate the console. 4s. That would be 8. He has failed. His other action is, well, again, he can technically do another one on his other action, I guess, because that's his first action is he's going to shoot the super mutant, and he's going to shoot him with the assault rifle at long range. This is needing 6s. 2 - 1 is 1, so it did go through. 2 damage. The super mutant brute has 2 physical defense, which he has blocked all the damage from. So that was 1 complete action. So I believe he can do the console again, right? Because the interacting is once per action, and he started in base to base. So other action, he failed anyway, so it doesn't matter. His other gunshot. Oh, I totally forgot that this brute is in cover, so it actually wouldn't have been 6. It would have been 4s. Well, that would be a 7. That's going to be very bad once that brute gets into close combat. The super mutant down here is next activate and he wants to attack. So he is going to shoot at the settler up here twice. She's in cover. So it's his skill -2. So it's 2s unfortunately for him. Which would be a miss on his first shot, his second shot. That's a 7. So that is a miss on both counts. Now, again, this is something I need to check because she has a reaction and being shot at, even if the shot misses, is a triggerable reaction thing. However, she's being shot out of her awareness range, which is green. If we just get the green marker here. So I believe that means the reaction doesn't trigger because she's being shot out of her reaction range. So right now she's kind of like, oh, I don't know where that shot came from. But if the super mutant had been within the green, say standing here, then after being shot at, she could have shot him. Or when he moved into range, she could have reacted and shot him. I think that's right, but keep me right if you know. Let me know in the comments. Dogmeat is going to activate. He's going to bite that super mutant twice and hopefully do better than last time. He is needing 8s. That is a success plus a quick action. Plus my dog getting mad at something. Don't know what. So a cola ball and a star. The star is another quick action, so that doesn't apply. Cola ball, it would have removed a reaction. He doesn't have a reaction, so it's just base 2 damage plus 1 ignore armor. Basic super mutants have 1 armor. So the dog bite, the first one, does 2. Then the other one, a 10. Oh, -3 though, it becomes 7. Plus a nuke. What does the nuke do? He has broken his arm. His arm is broken, and he took 2 more damage, so he took 4 damage in total. Not good for that super mutant. Good for us. So the last activation for the AI was the brute, and he is attacking, so he moved up and he has charged into the settler there. So that was just a quick one. He can't obviously attack this turn. So just going to immediately jump to the free text turn, and I'm a little gun shy about, pardon the pun, about shooting into ongoing combat. So I think he's just going to try and activate the console twice. Where's the skill die? He has a skill of 8. His first attempt passed. I don't think he can use the same console again. Or maybe he can actually. Well, let's see if it matters first of all. So that's the 6,000 gallons for the turn, and if it does apply, then that's another 1,000 as well. And now it's just the sole survivor to end off battle round 2. So I couldn't see anything in the rules for the scenario other than just subsequent successes in the same turn only give 1,000 gallons rather than 6, so that's 7,000. The sole survivor has ended the turn, and as you can see he is scarping in this direction. The reason he's doing that is he is going for a generator to switch that on for a little bit of water per turn. Plus it's getting a little bit dangerous over the other end of the table. So things are not looking good for the AI super mutants as we get to the end of battle round 2, although in terms of gallons pumped, flushed, whatever you want to say, 14,000 of the 30,000 required done. Not quite halfway through yet. It's not looking good for them. I'm surprised that the setup includes like not giving them hunting rifles. Not that it would have made a huge difference I suppose because they're going for close combat kills, but it doesn't seem entirely balanced what each side is to have for this objective. Like it feels like the super mutants are getting not a fair shake. And keep in mind this isn't an AI scenario, this is meant to be a scenario played by 2 people, so it's supposed to be even, but yeah, I guess if you were playing not using AI and randomizing deployments, you could have been a bit more clever with them. I'm talking like it's over and it's not over yet, so let's jump into battle round 3 and see what happens. So to get battle round 3 started, Dogmeat is going to try and nom that super mutant to death. So dog bite on his first attack, needing 8s. That is an exclamation mark, so that is already a success because it counts as a 1, although it would have become a -1. Star in the bottle would do nothing of relevant. Well, we'll give him a quick action, which actually might be relevant because he can use that for a free charge actually. Oh, that is interesting. That's on the assumption he kills it. 2 damage, no armor break. The super mutant can negate 1. But does that matter? Does he have 5 health? No, he has 6 health. So if he negates this 1, he stays alive. He did not negate the 1. He took the full 2. That's 6 damage. That super mutant, who was also on -2 skill checks thanks to a broken arm, has been removed. So that means Dogmeat has a quick action and 1 proper action. So he can do a quick action charge as per his card, because it has that symbol there. And his charge distance drops down from blue to red because it's a quick action charge. But that doesn't matter because his target is right there. Just remove all this as well. So he's going right into the brute. He'll throw in a black charge die for bonus damage on the charge. And he's needing 8s. And he got an exclamation mark again, so it's already through. It also, let's see, well, can't generate more quick actions. There's no overwatch, so that's irrelevant. Wow, that would have done -4 to his skill check. So 2 plus 1, 3 damage. The brute has 3 physical armor. Sorry, 2 physical armor. And he didn't block it, so he took the full 3 damage. Nice. So it isn't the brute that activated, it's this super mutant. He has moved up and he is now taking a shot at the settler there with his bolt action pipe rifle. So he is needing 4s. That would be a 10. It comes down to a 9, but he has failed and the stomp continues. So I'm going to activate the settler that got shot at, her here with the 1 rad damage at the console. So our first quick action type thing, well not quick action, free action sorry, is to try and activate the console. She succeeded, and that was the first time this turn, so that's 6,000 gallons. Then she's going to shoot twice at the super mutant that shot her. He's just outside of red, so it's just black, and the check is 6. The first one is a success with nothing extra added, so he's got 1 physical armor, which he does not block, so he takes the full 2 damage from the assault rifle, so that's 2 on him there. Second shot, that is also a success with 1 extra damage. 1 armor on the super mutant. Oh, he passed it, so he ignored that, essentially, so it just does 2 more damage. Still bad for him and bad for the super mutants in general. He's now sitting on, what, 2 health left? Yep, 2 health left. Over to the, well, it has to be the brute. Yeah, okay, over to the brute. Have you ever seen a super mutant go Super Saiyan? You might be about to, because the brute is activating, and he, well, you can use 1 item per activation. So his first action is he's going to use Psycho. So the way that works is it starts with all buffs in green, and then for each turn that passes it diminishes. So at the start he's essentially getting +2 physical armor and a bonus black die in melee, but once 1 turn passes it would just be the melee +1, and then on the next turn it would just be the +1 armor. Then afterwards you suffer withdrawal if you don't pass an addiction check. So I think that's like -1 strength and -1 physical armor. For now though, my man is roided out, and normally that's what you'd be rolling for the sledgehammer, but now that he's on Psycho, he's throwing in that black die. Oh, and he charged last turn as well, didn't he? So you could technically throw in another black one or a green. Oh, and also he's strength 8, isn't he? So he would also get a bonus damage from that. In that case, that's his first attack. Because he's strength 8, so he gets the bonus damage die. Alright. His physical is 8. Oh, he's going after the settler incidentally because he's easier to kill with his first. So never mind, because he automatically failed. The super mutants can't get a break. Alright, so now he's just doing a normal attack on the settler. So plus the Psycho roided out. That one succeeds. Boy does it succeed. -1 armor break. So the settler normally has 1 base armor, that's gone, but he still has 1 super armor. The sledgehammer does 2 damage, his super armor is destroyed, and he takes a single point of damage. Not great, however, at the end of the brute's second action, he is using Nuka-Cola to heal for 3, and he doesn't take any damage from Rad, so he ignores that part. So he had 6 damage, he's now got 3 damage on him. So he's still kicking, but now what, the free tech, the sole survivor, basically everybody just gets to go. Wow. So the settler's going to activate and try and kill the normal super mutant down there. 2 shots with assault rifles. She's also going to do 2 checks on the console, but we'll do those after. So we're looking for, that is a 9, so it's an insta-fail, never mind. Second shot. That is an automatic success. He would actually be in cover as well, I think, but either way that's a success. So that's 2 damage coming through against his 1 physical armor. He didn't block it, he took 2, so that is 6 in total. He is dead. The brute is the only thing left alive for the super mutants on the map. That's very unfortunate for the AI. Oh, and the 2 checks very quickly. 4s succeeded, so there's 6,000 gallons pushed through on turn 3. So, sorry, but I forgot that she could also do a second check on the console. Did it off camera, she succeeded, so that was another 7,000, not 6,000 gallons. Going to do 2 quick activations. The sole survivor has moved next to that generator and is going to try and start it. And then we're just going to do two quick checks on the console next to the free agent. Sorry, free agent. Wrong game. Free tech. Starting with the sole survivor though, he needs to do a computer check to see if he can switch on the generator. He only gets 1 chance at this, and he needs a 5, and he has failed miserably. That generator is not switched on. Free tech, however, needs at least, or less than, no, that's an instant fail, needs less than 8. That's a pass, but because it's already been activated a couple of times, it's just 1,000 more gallons. And now it's just the settler who's getting attacked by the brute to end off the battle round 3. So the aforementioned settler is going to try and use his gun in close combat. Close range, -2 skills, so unfortunately it's 4s. First hit is an automatic fail. Also, I believe you can't interact with a terminal or whatever if you're in contact with an enemy, so you can't do that anyway. His other shot, that knock things away, is an 8, so it's also a fail. So that takes us to the end of the 3rd battle round. So as we go into battle round 4 with only the super mutant brute standing up to the settlers, things are looking good. 22,000, I believe. I've got a note behind me. 22,000 gallons pumped of the 30,000. It's doable in this turn. I believe it just ends instantly if the super mutant dies anyway. Also, the Psycho is now diminished by 1 stage, so it's not giving him 2 physical bonus armor, it's just 1 plus the bonus close combat damage. Let's see what happens in what is probably going to be the final turn. So perhaps unsurprisingly, battle round 4 is starting with Dogmeat trying to nom that brute twice. His skill is +2 because the brute is outnumbered, right? So he basically can't miss. Never mind, he got a fail. That's what you do to miss. It was an example of what to do or what not to do. The other attack, however, would have been enough without a bonus. Yes, it would have. It's doing 2 bonus damage, would ignore Overwatches or reactions, but that doesn't matter. So he's got a 4 damage dog bite coming through. However, Brute's base armor, as I get a ping on my watch, Brute's base armor 2, Psycho is bringing him to 3, and oh, that's it because he's not getting attacked by a ranged weapon. So he has 3 armor currently. He ignored 1 of it. So he negates 1 damage of the, how much was it? 4 coming through, so he took 3 damage. That puts him at 6 damage in total. He does get a turn though, so there is that. So that Super Mutant Brute is going down swinging. He's still on the cycle with the bonus damage. He's going after that Settler again. And he needs... Actually, shouldn't he be getting the bonus black die from his strength being so high every attack? I think he should be, actually. I mean, he didn't land any hits last time anyway, so it's irrelevant for last time. But hey, he did this time. That comes down to 5 plus 1 bonus damage. That's 3 damage on the... Oh, actually, he did land a hit. I forgot because he took away his bonus armor. So he has 1 armor on the Settler, which does not block it, so that is 3 damage in total done to the Settler. The Settler has 1 HP left. His other attack. Take one of my people out. I dare you. He does not, because that's a 9 with no minuses. So the Brute has missed, but he did almost kill a Settler. We might as well just go straight to skill checks for like the free tech, because they're quick. Need 8s. That's 6,000 gallons. 6,000 gallons. So that puts us 2,000 gallons away from winning. Oh, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. I forgot that 1 damage got through on the Brute's first set of attacks. So plus the 3 damage, that has actually killed him. So that Settler is dead and gone. And more importantly, that means that the Super Mutant's got on the scoreboard, because that is 1 capture point. He has been abducted and will be turned into a slave tech, I guess. I don't know. Either way, that's at least the Super Mutants did something. So to take us to the end of the game here, basically, the Soul Survivor just needs a skill check of 6 or under to turn on this generator, and that's more than enough because it's 5,000 at the end of the turn, and that'll call it there. So that would be a 9. Come on now. And that would be a pass on an exclamation mark, which counts as a 1. So that is 5,000 gallons, and that brings us to the end of the game. So I will admit that tutorial battle, Water Treatment Plant, was not as fun as the other 2 because it didn't seem fair on the Super Mutant setup at all. And it seemed a bit too easy to win. Now again, if you were playing against a human who could have put the Super Mutants together to like rush from the generator side, yeah, maybe it would have turned out different. But like the assault rifles and combat shotguns and whatnot, they're all better than the pipe rifles, so... I don't think this one was balanced correctly, either from an AI perspective or a player versus player perspective. I don't know what the point of the searchables around the outside were, because you don't need them, and you don't keep them because it's not a link scenario, so... It's a shame we didn't get to see more danger cards and whatnot, but we can do that next time. The next tutorial mission is the Lost Journal. The settlement is approached by a lone Brotherhood of Steel Paladin, or Aspirant, sorry, Aspirant Goddard, and he seeks the survivors' help, finding a lost journal, I believe, because it's called Lost Journal, so of course it is. Use your brain before speaking. So, we'll be helping Aspirant Goddard next time, hopefully with more balanced teams. Also, the next tutorial scenario introduces radiation problems on the map, and I think something else, but I've forgotten offhand what it was. Still, even though this one was a bit lackluster, the game is still interesting. It's just a shame this one wasn't balanced correctly. We will be back in the future for another versus AI tutorial. Until then, thank you for watching. Check out the other videos, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ta for now.